Hello, and welcome to Bring On the Medicine, a holistic healer summit. My name is Janae Robinson, and I am the owner of Janae's Essentials in Burley, Idaho. I am a life coach, a yoga therapist, and the host of this summit. I am here with Jenali Winn Graham. Jennali is a spiritual hypnotherapist. She specializes in emotional detox hypnosis and past life regressions. Jennali has had a passion for all things holistic and spiritual her whole life, and as a result is now also a I'm going to have to start over again.
You're good. Just keep going. Naprapathic.
Okay, we're not starting over. We're just doing this real.
We're flowing. We're just going to flow.
Practitioner.
Yes.
Known as a natural chiropractor. She owns crystal shops and has a passion for teaching. She frequently teaches classes of law of attraction, numerology, as well as several modalities. She has been able to see since she was 3 years old and also does readings as a result. Jennali has lived in Mini Cassia her entire life and started her business 10 and a half years ago. She has 4 kids and loves exploring nature any chance that she can get. Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to mess up here and keep going. Welcome.
Oh, I love it. We're just going to flow the whole time. It's great.
Yeah, that's what it's about, is being real and showing up authentic.
Yes, it is.
So welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. Spring is absolutely my favorite time of the year. It feels like my soul's coming alive. I get to be out in nature. I get to meditate in nature, and everything feels like it's coming into alignment when it's spring. So I am incredibly happy. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well too. I've been really excited to talk to you. We don't get to see each other a lot. You're kind of back and forth in a couple different places. So tell me where you are. You have a
yeah.
place.
So my location right now is I'm here right by you, kind of. We're just a few blocks away in Burley, but I have a second location now in Twin Falls by the old hospital.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I really wanted to let you know that I look at you as this magical unicorn type of a person, where I feel like you just say yes to everything. Oh, we don't have this. Oh, yes, I'll do it. Oh, we don't have this. Oh, yes, I'll do it. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what fuels your passions for all the work that you do?
I mean, that is such a big question, right? There's so many things. It's not just one answer. Number one, I love to see that change in people. That change when people are, almost broken or wanting help or wanting to branch out to help grow themselves. Right when they're awakening, especially in the spirituality, that feeling I get of watching them grow, that's probably my absolute favorite thing about what I do. That fuels my passion. I got to say, the second thing is absolutely life experiences. I really, truly believe that we are meant to live a happy life, to experience the world and all that it has to offer. And so doing what I do creates happiness within me, but it also allows me to experience life. And those are probably the two things that I can say that really fuel what I do. And I just love working with spirit. I love the other side, the feelings of peace I get from working with the other side on a regular basis. That's what fuels me.
Yeah, I think there really is a difference when you love what you do. I feel like you don't really get tired. You just keep going because it's so much fun.
I know. And my physical body sometimes does not like me working the 16-hour days, but I just can't get enough sometimes. And I would have to limit myself and stop myself because I was always working because I love it so much. But I think the thing that is the best about working for yourself and loving what I do is the freedom that we get, the freedom to enjoy life.
Absolutely. I agree with that too. You can schedule in things that you want to or change things around if you need to.
Yeah.
So that's great. So in your introduction, you had talked about seeing since you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then when we were talking, you were talking about how much you love working with the other side. So tell me about, like, when did you start believing in ghosts or spirits? I'm not even sure what you call um, who you're talking with, or
Working with.
and like, do you see them? Do you feel them? Do you hear them? Is it all of the above? Tell us about that. 3 years old, I'm thinking,
Um,
wow.
I love, love, love that I can see them and feel them. I was seeing them with my physical human eyes since I was 3. I used to live out in Elba, and we lived clear out on the mountain. And when I would look out the window, there was a lot of indigenous people watching me. And we lived kind of on a hill, so they were at the bottom of the hill by the raspberry patch. And I didn't understand what was happening. I was very, very, very aware of others around me that other people couldn't see. Um, I do not think that I understood it was ghosts until I was in second grade. So I went from about age 3 to, what are we in second grade? About
7.
7, yeah. And I was at my grandparents' house in Oakley, and I was sleeping with my grandma. And when I opened my eyes, there was a man in the doorway, and he had button-up flannel pajamas and button-up pants, and he had hair. And the weirdest thing about this is that he had like a pick in his hair, but he was Caucasian. And I know that's not my grandpa, because my grandpa does not have pajamas like that. My grandpa take a shower, put on his garments, and like he's to bed. You know what I mean? Like that is not my grandpa. And I remember being really concerned. And that's the first time when I was like 7 years oldish, second grade, and I could physically see. Um, when I got to be about 33, I told Spirit, I'm done seeing them with my physical eyes. I need to hear them. It terrifies me. There's moments when you wake up and they're like over the top of your bed looking down at you, and you're like, and to give you another answer to part of your question is there's both ghosts and spirits from my point of view. Spirits are the ones living on the other side that come back down and visit and, give us guidance and advice and things like that. And the ghosts are the ones that are trapped between here and the other side for whatever reason. And the spirits do not bother me. They're very calm and soothing, and they're so loving and kind. The ghosts terrified me back in the day, all the way up until I was about 32, 33-ish. But I would just freeze, and I would just be so stiff, and my heart would race so fast, and I didn't understand. And so the ghosts would freak me out. So I don't want to see them anymore. I want to hear them. And I was just getting home. I was bartending and serving at the time. I did that for 20 years. I was home by myself. I was winding down. My phone was on silent. And audibly, I could hear, hey, hey, what are you doing? It was like a 12-year little boy. And ever since I was a little girl, I pretend I'm asleep because I think if they think I'm sleeping, they'll leave me alone. So I have my phone in front of me and I'm scrolling, but it's on silent. And I hear that and I just pretend I'm asleep. Like, this is what I asked for. And I'm in the office and I'm hearing, hey, hello. And I'm like turning around expecting there to be, a customer or somebody. And it's nobody. And I'm like, oh. And so the hearing thing was not for me. And I just said, can you guys just please talk to me when I'm going pee and the lights are on so I don't have to run away? And that didn't work. So I said, please let me just see them with my third eye. And then that was a unique experience, because as they started showing me these images in my brain and communicating with me with images and what sounds like my own thought speaking to me, I had to really learn how to communicate like that, because like they say, a picture is 1,000 words. And what are you trying to show me by this picture? And then I had to almost decipher and translate what they were telling me. So I do it all. I can hear them, I can see them, and I feel them, but usually if I feel them, I see them. So they can't really hide too much once their energy's in here. And it's been just growing ever since. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's funny because somebody had stopped by here today and said, hey, hi. And I was actually saging the space, and I'm like, was that a ghost? Was that it's like, I couldn't imagine like it's seeing a real person. So, I mean, that's what you're saying, is that you see them as if you would see a real person. So
Yeah.
are they transparent? Are they just there? Like you said, pajamas in the hair. Like, can you decipher a real person from a spirit or a ghost?
Yeah. So I'm like going back through all these memories. Yes, yes, almost always I would say they were some type of translucent. The interesting part for me though is that I never see them with feet. I never ever see them with feet. So an example of that is one time my son was just an infant. I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a man in front of my door and he had like a flannel plaid looking long button up shirt on, had really baggy pants. And I was in bed and I was like, oh, oh, and I looked down like this to see if I could see feet. And I was like, oh, there's no feet. He's not real. And I was like, oh, he's not real. He's not real. He's not real. And that's always been my thing is they never have feet. At least from my perspective, I cannot see any. And that's how I can also tell the difference too in the heat of the moment. So, but yeah, usually they're pretty translucent. So I would say from my point of view, most of them are like 60% solid and 40% translucent. That's how I can tell. Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. So, what do you think happens after we die?
I love this
What do you think
subject. This
happens?
is
You know, because you're talking about these spirits and they're already on the other side, but then these
yeah.
ghosts are stuck in between. So, how do you get to the other side is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
have theories, so I'd love to
There
hear.
are a lot of theories. So from my work my entire life, um, what I see is that people that do, pass away and they transition to the other side right away, they always go to this place that we call the scanning room. And it's like a sphere, if you will. And from top to bottom and all sides, it's covered in like what we would say is screens. And their whole life is flashed before their eyes, played out. And the other side, it doesn't have time the way we do. So they're able to watch their whole life and kind of evaluate themselves on did they do what they were supposed to do? Did they come down here and do what they wanted to accomplish? Were they kind to other people? And then in certain aspects, if like let's say me and you, we developed this really good friendship, and maybe I had hurt you, I would also be able to see it from your point of view of the damage that I did to you. How did I make you feel? How did it affect your life? Did I say I was sorry or not? And you're able to step into all the people around yous and see from their perspective to really judge yourself, I would say. And that's one aspect of it. Now, the people, not everybody crosses over right away. Some of them do stay as ghosts. That's their own choice, though. The next step, let's say they've had an accident, let's say they've had a mental illness. Some of them are just really confused. There's a healing center over there, and it is beautiful. And people welcome you in, spirits from their side welcome you in. Sometimes they kind of have to help move you along, or I frequently have to tell them, what it's like over there when they're stuck. And they go into this healing center, and it's almost like layers of emotion and mental stuff starts to kind of peel off like the layers of an onion. They'll come out and like work with them. It's like an orientation. They get them to go back in. And I know it sounds crazy because back in the day when I was in my teenage years, I would call that the cocoon. They'd go into this cocoon. They'd come out and talk to them, maybe like a therapy or modalities, and then get them to go back in and come back out. As I've gotten older, I perceive it as like tanning beds almost. And it's like these
Okay,
layers of tanning beds. That's how visually I see it. And they come out and work with them. When they are healed from the trauma of Earth, then they go into the scanning machine and then fully orientated into the other side. Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. That
Oh,
yeah, I want to go there. I want to go there.
yeah. And that's just the beginning. That's not actually the other side, right? That's just your orientation to the other side. That has nothing to do with what the other side is really like over there. And it's really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we're always on a journey, right? I don't think the journey ever ends. And often I've thought about reincarnation and different things like that. And I even think about Christ. You know, Christ had come down and he was this perfect being. And we have the Dalai Lama and we have like Paramahansa Yogananda, these almost spirit-like people. And I thought, why are there not more of them? If we had reincarnation, where is all the knowledge going? Why do we have so few? And so, are you saying that they're maybe on that other side, like, you know, maybe past that healing room and into
Yeah.
spirit realm, or what do you think about that? I know I'm just throwing this out.
So what you're to me, my verbiage for what you're talking about is ascended masters. And
Okay.
I do believe that there are hundreds and hundreds of them. I just don't believe that all people look at them like ascended masters. And to me, an ascended master, they're not in the healing room. They might visit the healing room to help others heal, but they're past that. They can, I don't know what the proper word with this for this would be, but from my perspective and my knowledge, Christ himself can split his energy millions and millions of time to be with everybody or, lots of people at one time. And they're doing the work. They're helping to fill your heart with love and peace and forgiveness. And they're still doing the work, but just from a different vibrational level that we can't physically see them, but we feel them. I think some people can still see them in spirit form, but there are hundreds of them. It might not feel like we have ascended masters now on our planet that I know of, but I don't know. I mean, look at Jesus. You wouldn't have known he was an ascended master during his time. What about the people that are just standing up for our rights, that are just trying to make an impact? What about the healers, the local healers that are just helping their community and teaching the best that they can? Like, who's to say if we have ascended masters or not yet? Because this human life is so busy, we don't always see everything. And I bet there are still some out there.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. I really like that perspective because yeah, who are we to judge? We don't know someone's heart. We don't know all the work that they're doing. We don't know their true intentions. And I know my heart, you know your heart, right? And so, but really only that person can really truly know their own heart and the work that they're
Mhm.
into life. So yeah, I think that that's beautiful for sure.
Mhm.
So I wanted to just say that you have a really great sense of humor. Like I go to your crystal shop in town. Jennali's always laughing and just talks a mile a minute and
Yep.
is really fun, always has a smile on her face. And but she's also very smart. You ask her about crystals. Like I have some crystals over here. I was called to create an altar in honor for our interview today, and I brought in crystals from her shop. And I just thought, hey, they were once hers, and now they're mine. So we have this. What did I call it? It was a reciprocal type energy with we have something in common here. And so she's very smart. She knew all the names of those rocks. Like I forget, I'm sometimes, and you know this, I've either text messaged you or called you, or sent you a picture and said, what is this stone? I forgot what it was, but I knew that I got it at her shop, and she always knows what they are. And so I want to ask you, like, would you rather be the funniest person in the room or the smartest, and why?
Definitely the funniest. I love laughing. And laughing has such a unique vibration that I was taught, I mean, over a decade ago, that if we are truly laughing, we cannot have another thought in our head. Laughter is also a type of meditation because nothing else can enter into your head. Laughter increases your vibration. And if your vibration is over, I believe it's 58 megahertz, you therefore cannot have an illness in your body either. People heal themselves with laughing. They peel off layers of negative energy by laughing. Children laugh over 200 times a day. Adults laugh less than 10 times a day. So definitely the funniest for laughter reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I have a mentor who says that, laughter is like prayer. And if you're laughing, then it will chase away negativity. And
Yes.
and I love that we have yoga geared to laughing, where you can lay in a circle with people with your heads on each other's bellies and just start laughing, and then everybody's laughing together. And then it's also bringing to mind the laughing Buddha. And
Oh,
there are laughing Buddhas as well. And so I love your reason behind laughter. It's an energetic quality, isn't it?
it is. Okay, but tell me about the laughing Buddha, because I don't know if I really know too much about that.
I don't know the story behind the laughing Buddha. I'll have to look it up. And so, but it is something that I've heard before, the laughing Buddha. So um yeah, I just say, if you're watching this, look it up. And I'll look it up too. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I will look it up. So
Okay.
I was just
Have you ever heard of like laughter yoga?
I have. Yeah.
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 So there used to be a lady, and I worked at Highland Estates over here in Burley, and I would have this lady come in and do laughter yoga. And still to this day, I still practice some of that stuff to get me laughing. And I have a client up in Twin Falls. She is the healthiest 88-year-old woman I have ever met in my life. And on a very regular basis, and I'm talking 2 times a day, she works out. She does Tai Chi a few times a week. She does yoga, and she does laughter yoga almost every single day. And she is the healthiest person think I've ever seen at 88 years old. So it's important to laugh.
Think so too. And if you think about vibration, vibrational medicine, because by even singing bowls, they kick out the
Mhm.
energy, right? They're going to kick out those other energies. And then whichever frequency is resonating with you, it will stay in your body for 3 days. And then you also think about, I think about power lines and power poles and these really strong energies and how damaging that they can be. So we have this range of even sound and energy. And
Right.
so I feel
Mhm.
an energy does stay in the body. So it can heal, but it can also hurt.
Yep.
So it's finding those frequencies, and laughter does heal. It is healing. And I've heard um, uh, there's some holistic medicine people that will say that if you have cancer, to watch comedies so that you're
Yes.
laughing and you're changing your vibration. And I feel that we do have a lot of stuck emotion within us. We have so many experiences. Think about, I'm 59 years old. I know you're a lot younger than that. So how many negative experiences have I had in my life?
Right.
How many of them have I actually processed through?
Right.
So
And that reason right there is why I tell people you can't just do the healing work one time. And it's not about so much the experience as it is that we think 60,000 thoughts a day. How many times are you thinking about that thought over and over and over, not just every day, every week and every month, and then all of a sudden you have this massive amount of negative energy. It's why it's important to keep on working, because you can't just take out 60,000 negative thoughts if you had a bad experience for weeks and days and months and years at a time in like one session, right?
right.
So that's it. Layers and layers, because we think about it. And we're a sponge for negativity. We torture ourselves. So vibration matters,
I think so
every
too.
thought is a vibration. We have to be in control of our actions and reactions and our thoughts and our emotions. And no wonder being a human sometimes is exhausting.
I was thinking that too, because what I've been working on is feeling areas of not disease, but kind of dis-ease, right? And
Yes.
so maybe I have some extra inflammation, or maybe like I was getting some inflammation on one of my fingers, the side of my finger. And so I will hold that area and I will say, what is the emotion underneath this issue? What's the emotion under this inflammation? And I just allow my natural intuition to say anger, fear, whatever it is that's coming up. And I just say it over and over and over again. What is the emotion under this inflammation? What is the emotion under this inflammation? What is the emotion under this inflammation? I'm answering myself in between. So it's very fast. And then
Right.
um, I just know that acknowledging and honoring that I have felt fear, even though maybe I don't remember the instance. You don't have to remember the instance. It's
Yeah.
just honoring the fact that this body is carrying the emotion of fear. It's carrying the emotion of guilt or the emotion. It can even be happiness. You might say that, oh, what's underneath this inflammation is happiness. And that just tells me that there's some healing that's already going on in there. Like, oh, there is happiness in there. This is good. And so there's so many, some people use tuning forks, other people use sound bowls. Sometimes we use water. There's just so many beautiful ways to bring in
To
healing.
do it.
And even,
Yeah.
right, that
I do love that you said that. So Spirit taught me about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, to treat every pain or every sickness as if it were a small child. How do we talk to it? Like, and so if like you have the inflammation, on your finger, um, oh, I get a lot in the shoulders with my clients, and I talk to it like a small child, like, hey, buddy, what's going on with you? And I let them talk to me and let them express what's going on. And then we start working with it that way. I do that a lot. But the other thing I do when I'm doing physical work or when I'm doing hypnosis work is identify it as a color and then pull the color out. And then what color heals, the inflammation, and then put that color back in. And I usually put those two back to back. But working with it as if it were a small child. And if it was angry, well, tell me about that. Where's the anger coming from? And that seems to do a lot more for myself and my clients ever since I learned how to communicate with the pain or the problem, the challenge, the issue, as if it were a small child.
I love that because it really is about the movement of the energy, right? And
Yes.
so when we have um, when we have coaches, when we have practitioners, everybody has had different experiences, so they're there to offer something different than what you've done yourself. How many times
Right.
have you heard, "Oh, I already do that. Oh, I've already done that. Oh, I've already tried that." And so we do hear that a lot. And I was talking to one of my daughters today, and I said, when I sent a book over to her, and I said, when you're listening on Audible to this book, there's going to be a lot of things that you're already doing. And so, but what I'd like you to focus on and really listen into is what is new and what can you get curious about? And what are the things that you're not doing? Because that's like that sound energy that's pushing out the old vibration, and it has an
Mhm.
opportunity to bring in something new. And so I love your perspective. I hadn't ever learned that, of talking to that as a small child. So now that's something, oh, I can apply that. I'm going to get curious about that and see what, right?
Yeah,
So
I do. I like it a lot. It's worked. I feel like it's worked miracles with especially my clients that have reoccurring pains that keep coming back. It seems like it works a lot. And then you'll notice that they start releasing emotions right away. And then I just tell them, can I talk to your body for a minute? If you want me to do it silently, I will, but I try to do it out loud if they allow me to. And just let that child come out and be seen and let them know that they're worthy and they're beautiful and they're amazing. And they can be and do anything they want to do and be. And just talking to it the way you would encourage a child, it really does work miracles. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen with your inflammation if you do that.
yeah, I am too. I'm really excited to that too. I did get a new tuning fork. It's called like a slider, and so I have it has a piece that you attach to the end of the fork, and you can strike the tuning fork, and then you use that extension to slide all the way around your body. And
Oh,
so it's like that's a great time to bring in those conversations for me, because I try to do that so a couple times a day. That's my goal. I don't always, but a couple times a day, to really just move energy through. And it's supposed to be good for inflammation. It's supposed to be good for a lot of different things. But when we can bring in something physical, whether it's self massage, whether it's a foot bath, whether it is a tuning fork, or whatever it is that we choose, we can start to bring in that conversation, right? Like, I'm taking some time to move this tuning fork all over my body. I might as well talk to myself.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I
And to
really,
get in that habit, like a lot of people when we're doing this type of work, they're always like, I don't have time. I don't have time. But the challenge is finding the time, creating the time, right? The next thing is like we do things every day. We're in our car every day. You could do this stuff while you're talking, which is my favorite time. I turn off the radio and I do a lot of my work in the car because as I am keeping my conscious mind busy with watching and focusing, my subconscious mind is now open to receiving. I do a lot of this stuff driving, the shower, how many times a day are we like going to the bathroom? You're doing nothing while you're going to the bathroom. Well, most people are playing on their phones probably, but it's a time that we do things every day. Do the work while you are doing those events that you do every day. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's getting creative with our time. And I
Yeah.
think that when we are intentional of, okay, I'm every time that I'm doing whatever, I'm going to add this in. And when
Right.
we're intentional, that brings in awareness. And awareness actually heals our brain and grows our prefrontal cortex so that we become
Oh,
better.
cool.
Yeah. So every time that we bring awareness in, we're growing our prefrontal cortex. And so that means that we're going to be better problem solvers. And who doesn't want to be a better problem solver? So it's like getting creative and finding those little bits of time that and honestly think that when we start to do that, we realize how much time that we do waste.
Yes, a lot.
We're on our phone or whatever.
Right.
And the other to it is oftentimes our value or our worth is tied up in doing. So maybe we are really busy and maybe it's time to pare down a little bit and make room for that healing because if we don't have this body, if I just allow the inflammation to take over, my lifespan will probably shorten
Right.
and or I'll be in pain. And so it's like, where's my value to and my commitment to myself and my own body? That's
Yeah. That
that
is something I definitely feel like, this next year I am wanting to accomplish more of. I feel like I don't even like the word busy. If we're too busy, we can't do anything or people can't reach us. So I like to say productive. I want to be productive. But that is something I really wanted to do. I feel like I don't know about you, but the last 2 years being a human has been extremely difficult, especially for me. Like I found it extremely difficult. And when things get really, really intense for me here, I don't always take the time to do the healing. And uh and then there are times I'm like, that's all I'm doing because I'm so stressed out, with human life. But I work better on a schedule. If it's not on my schedule, I don't tend to do it. So I have to make a schedule for myself and be consistent in order for me to get it done. I do believe that the blessing that you and I have and the other healers is that when we are doing them with our clients, that we receive it for ourselves as well. And that is also a very big blessing in doing what we do is, we're kind of always in this type of energy. So, but I do need to be more consistent this next year.
Yeah, I have found for myself that I've had to let a lot of things go and
Yeah.
just thought I really just want this year I want to narrow it down because I feel you the last 2 years. Maybe it was because it's a building. We were building and so sometimes we're just building, but then it's like, okay, where's the structure? What am I to focus on? What am I really here to bring into the world?
Yes.
So things change and it reminds me of how children grow, like they grow out and then they grow tall and then they grow out and then they grow tall. Or the dahlia flower, how when it blooms, it will open and then it closes and then it opens and then it closes and then it opens and then it closes and then we have this pulse in life
Right.
and I think that is just a way that we can check ourselves, that self check of, well, some things aren't working, so what can I do?
Right.
And
And what's most important, You get
so,
so busy with human life. Now it's like, what's most important? And my peace and my happiness and my freedom are most important. And if anything goes against that, it's like, bye. bye-bye, because at this point in my life, I'm not willing to give up any of that stuff. And so, it was really tough to have to decide, some hard life decisions of cutting people out who are not reciprocating the energy, or um, stop hanging out with friends just because we've been friends for 17 years if they don't reciprocate the energy, or you know what I'm saying? Like, but in the end, it was because I value my peace, and I value my happiness, and I value my freedom. And so I did make some changes this year, and that feels good. And I finally feel like this spring is bringing things back into alignment and back on track. And I'm excited for this year. I've been excited for this year since it turned 2025. I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like you are in this area of expansion right now. Just just the little pieces that I've been able to hear about or that you've posted about. And it is this growth. And we want to grow. We don't always have to drop things away. It doesn't have to be this equal exchange. We can grow, and then we can find those supportive things that can support our growth, right?
Yes,
So like
yes.
you opened, did you open up your shop this year or was it last year?
In Twin Falls,
Or has it been more?
November is when I moved. I moved
Okay,
some stuff there. Yeah.
yeah, so November. So I see this expansion of your crystal shop and your offerings, and it's like you didn't have to you haven't let this place in Burley go.
No,
Like
I
you
didn't.
on the support on, okay, we're going to support both of these things. So this is what I need to do in my growth.
Yes. And I think, like, moving to Twin was divine alignment. I knew that I needed to do something. It was excuse me, it was very challenging being here. I've been in this building for a little over 10 years. But it was stagnant. The movement wasn't happening the way that it used to, or the way that I would like it to. And so I was actually going to go back to Boise. I used to have a second space in Boise, and that closed during 2020. And so I was actually looking to share a space up in Boise with a girlfriend. And this lady just called me out of the blue, and she's like, I've heard so much about you. She asked me if I'd be willing to go to her place, and it was like, okay, that's where I'm gonna go. It was just alignment. So yeah, it's kind of fun to watch it all happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. So I wanted to just kind of change a little bit, kind of shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and really talk about during transitions in your life and changes in your life. You've always been very open with what's going on with you, like your struggles and your journeys. And so I just wanted to ask you, what advice would you give someone who is struggling right now?
Yeah. Number one, I think it is the most important thing to have support. To find people that have your best interest at heart, that will pray with you, that will manifest with you, that will listen to you. To find that support. And if you don't have it, there are so many other people out there that are willing to do that with you. Um, like me, myself, we have a weekly thing in here for people to come in and pray and talk and listen and manifest. The second thing is to acknowledge that you do not have to be like that. You do not have to struggle. It's all temporary. Every struggle can just be temporary. There's so much knowledge and research, even online, if you don't want to see somebody, you don't have to suffer alone. There's no reason to have to suffer alone. But the first step needs to acknowledge that this is not how I want to feel. This is how I would like to feel. How can I feel like this every day? Even if it's just for moments every day. And the one thing I tell my clients is if you don't know what you want, nobody knows how to support you. The other side doesn't know how to support you. You have to know what you want. So the first thing I make my clients do is tell me how they want to feel every day. And what are three things that you can do every single day that allow you to be in that vibration? I know I want to be happy. I know I want to be free. I know I want to have peace. I know I want to connect with spirit every single day, probably so many times a day that they get sick of me. Okay. I want those things. What can I do 3 things every day that allow me to feel that way. And for me, every day, it is standing outside in the sunshine, usually with my beverage of choice, which is cacao or coffee. And I love music. I love to put my music on and I love to dance. And I dance with my head, my face aiming at the sunlight as it's filling up my body. And this is your antenna, right? So my antenna is going up, I'm directly receiving, and I dance. Those 3 things take 5 to 15 minutes a day. And I can go out there and do those 3 things as many times as I want to. So if you don't know how you want to feel, nobody knows how to support you. Get clear on how you want to feel. Reach out to people. If you don't feel like talking to people, research online and laugh. I always tell my clients to find something funny to laugh at. And there are people who are willing to help and listen. And that's the one thing everybody needs to know. You don't have to go through anything by yourself, and it's all temporary if you allow it to be.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what are you most grateful for in 2025? You said that you've been waiting for this year to come. You've been excited about it. So what are you most grateful for?
Oh,
And maybe it's
so
just this.
emotional.
What's that?
And I said, it's so emotional. Repeat that last little part because when I was talking, it cut you off. So what I'm so grateful for.
I said, is it just the sunshine?
Oh, it is so the sunshine. I love hiking. I love nature. I love everything that God and the earth provide. Um, But what am I most grateful for? First of all, you're asking the grateful queen over here. I trained myself to make lists of 100 things at a time that I'm grateful for, 16 years ago when I got into the law of attraction. So I could go on for gratefuls all day long. It is what I do in my manifesting and my prayers every single week or every day that I do it. So currently, what am I grateful for? I'm extremely, whew, I'm extremely grateful for spirit, always supporting me and having my back. I am so grateful for forgiveness. I'm grateful for my children that are open with me, that I get to have this beautiful relationship with them, that are so kind and compassionate and funny. I am so grateful for my business, for being able to be me and finding that strength every ounce to be me, to be here. I'm grateful for opportunities that keep flowing in, just like this. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for my boyfriend. It took me this long to find him. And never giving up on love. And I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. There's just so many things. Seriously, I'm grateful for my phone for communication to the people that are far away. And I'm grateful for the things that we take for granted every day, like electricity and plumbing. Seriously, plumbing. But I'm grateful. There's so many things in life to be grateful for. There are the people. I'm grateful for my best friend, Irene, and this girl who sees me for who I am and supports me endlessly like a guru. Like, I'm grateful for people who teach me, who mentor me. I'm grateful for knowledge, for to keep on being able to learn. And I could go on and on and on. I am incredibly blessed. I am very grateful. There's just a lot in life to be grateful for.
Sure. And I just love that gratitude brought up this swell of emotion. It just tells me who you are and that you're really speaking from this authentic, embodied place. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's beautiful. I just wanted to acknowledge that swell of emotion because that's true. Gratitude does offer that. It just offers us to get in touch with our emotional side. So that's,
Right.
yeah.
It
And
definitely shifts the vibration when you do your gratefuls, which is why I do them on a regular basis. It will change your vibration. If you want change, the first thing they say to do is to be grateful for what you have now and to love yourself unconditionally. Those are the first 2 things to do when you want to shift your life.
yeah, and that leads right into manifestation, doesn't it? Because when
100%.
what you focus on grows.
Yep.
So you're manifesting and you're focusing on gratitude and you're focusing on the things you already have. you're really just opening up yourself to more of what's good and more of what you love. And so, yeah, that's beautiful. So speaking of things that you love, I wanted to just ask a very whimsical question.
Okay.
What is the coziest thing that you own? Do you like cozy? I love cozy.
Cozy. You know, I'm like cozy. I love big, fat, thick, heavy blankets, okay? And I have a plethora of them. And this last Christmas, my boyfriend gave me one of those electrical blankets that's super fluffy inside, but electrical on the inside, so I get to keep warm. But I love the comfort of a thick, heavy blanket, and I think I probably got 3 of those.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Cacao and warm blanket. Yeah,
Yep. And outside in nature. I mean, I will stand outside. I dislike snow immensely. I dislike it. I don't know why I'm still in Idaho. I've been born and raised and still reside here. But I will still stand outside in the snow if there is sunlight and just dance. And you'll see me dancing. I dance at the gym. I dance in the parking lot sometimes. If you see me out dancing, I'm having a good day or a bad day and I need to shift my energy. I just love it. Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, Jenali, how can somebody get a hold of you or find you, whether they want to see you in Twin Falls or here in Burley
Yeah. So
or
the
on?
best way to get a hold of me right now, because I am, all over the place, I do a lot of events and things like that, is text message, honestly. I have my Facebook group, Jennali's Crystal Shop, Your Beautiful Life Hypnosis page on Facebook. I'm on Google, and I do a lot of events like my wellness weekend here in town. And now I'm organizing a farmers market every weekend over here in Hayburn. And so you can find me in a lot of places, but it is best to text me so that I can respond when I have availability. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any last words that you have for anybody that's watching?
Really when you ask that question, what comes to my mind and in my heart is there's always blessings and miracles and hope like right around the corner. And no matter what you're going through, good things always come in. And you have to keep your faith on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to say thank you to our listeners for watching, and we're going to sign off and say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.